Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 3rd Gen versus Steinberg UR22C. The one that I recommend is, of course, the Steinberg UR22C, but let's do a quick spec comparison, because what you'll see is these two things are almost peas in a pod. So it really does come down to that choice. But let's break them down here. We'll go with the Steinberg UR22C. USB 3. So USB 3 connection, 2 in, 2 out, 32-bit maximum 192 kilohertz recording, 2 mic or line inputs, MIDI input output, USB bus power, and the bundled software. So there's the front, your 2 combo jacks, your ability to mix in there. So you've got the ability to mix between the input and the DAW. You've got your mono button, which I'll explain in a minute, and you've got your headphone jack and your main output there. If we flip it around to the back, like so, where's the back? That's the side, Pete. It was that one, wasn't it? So you've got your balanced TRS outputs. You've got your MIDI in and out. You've got your 48 volts of phantom power, which, Patrick, why do they put them on the back? I've noticed this. You mentioned about the Behringer. A lot of these interface companies are putting them on the back. And then you've got your switchable power supply, which is similar to what we talked about before with your USB 3 and your 5 volt DC. So that is your Steinberg. So keep that in your mind, and that is $190 bucks. If we go to the Scarlett 2i2, and we'll find the Gen 3, because that is the USB-C, USB 3.0 equivalent of this one. So there's our 3rd gen. So you're saving yourself 30 bucks. So why are we $30 cheaper over here? What do we not have on this that we do have on the Steinberg? So let's have a look. Let's come in here for an inspect. So we've got the same 2 combo jacks with the 2 fancy dials. They do look a little bit fancier. 48 volt button on the front. Thank you, Focusrite. Well done with that one. You've got direct monitoring on or off. You've got your monitor knob, and you've got your headphone knob. So the main difference here is that there's 2 things missing. You don't have the mono button. So the mono button's handy, because if you're recording into software where you want to hear everything in both speakers, so say you're using software that puts the first channel on the left and the second channel on the right, you want to sum those down to mono, right? So you can hear them in both ears. You hit the mono button on the Steinberg, and that will put it to mono. It's a feature I only use occasionally, but it's super handy that it's there when it's there. The other thing is your Focusrite only has either direct monitoring on or off. So direct monitoring means that it's monitoring straight from the interface. So the audio is going in, and then it's coming straight back out. It's not going through your DAW for processing and then coming back. And that's often called zero latency or no latency monitoring, direct monitoring. So if you want to hear exactly what's going on with no delay, no latency, no lag, you can use direct monitoring. And if you're using something like this, so this is the old version of the Steinberg, it's just a button. You just flick it on or off. The difference there is, as you would have seen with the Steinberg, it has that dial. So if you want to hear a mix between the affected signal, so this is good if you're doing vocal recording and you want to hear some of the reverb coming back through, but you know that with the reverb signal it's going to be a bit delayed and a bit latency driven, you can put it half and half. That way you're hearing it directly back to keep your timing, but maybe you can hear a little bit of the effects to actually sing along with. So that's the difference there. We flip it around to the back. Here's the other difference, no MIDI. So that's not going to be a game changer for most people, but you've got no MIDI and you've got no switchable power supply. So everything needs to be bus powered. So that's the main difference there, is that if you've got MIDI instruments you want to connect up, the Steinberg's going to let you connect those directly. And again, if you want to make sure you can power it wherever you go. Now, if you're using a powered USB hub, so if you're using it for mobile, grab a powered USB hub and your Lightning to USB adapter, and you'll be gold. No problem at all whatsoever with this one. But if you are wanting to use it on the go and plug it into a wall outlet directly, as well as connect up to your iPhone or iPad, or use a portable battery, that's why I do love my Steinberg, because it's just got that extra flexibility. In terms of the quality, as you saw, the specs there are exactly the same. The Steinberg goes up to 32-bit. No one uses 32-bit. It doesn't even really exist, so don't even worry about that. But 24-bit 192, 2 microline instruments, USB bus power, etc. And the only other difference is that the Focusrite has these little air buttons, which basically give you a little bit of a boost in the treble section. It adds some air to your recording. So if you want to add some air and you want to play around with that, then you can use that. That's the only other difference. So there you go. Everything you wanted to know about the difference between the Steinberg UR22C and the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 3rd Gen.